Hey, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for having us, Brett and Red. It's hard to follow up the mayor, but we brought dogs. Who has a dog? Raise your hand, or maybe you had a dog. Wow, a lot of people have dogs. So this is my dog, Oscar. This is Jason. He works at Rover. That's his dog, Oscar. And Phil's dog, Oscar, is not here today. And so Phil is our lead, heads up our engineering team at Rover, and Jason heads up our product team. And so let me just tell you a little bit about how I came into this picture. This is my dog, Oscar. And I got Oscar about 2 years ago. There's a picture of him. I made this before I was going to bring him. And I'd never had a dog before. I didn't have a dog when I was a kid. I didn't have a dog when I was an adult. I didn't know anything about having a dog. And about, 8 weeks after I got that dog, I ran into the very first problem, which is I'm going out of town, and who is going to watch this dog, right? Who? Greg Gottesman, that's right. And so you go around and you start asking your friends and family, and they give you looks like this. And you feel terrible. You feel very, very guilty for asking people about it. So what happened is that shortly thereafter there was a startup weekend, and Phil was there at the startup weekend. I wasn't there, and I was just talking to another fellow who was at startup weekend too. And Greg Gottesman had this idea. He brought it to the startup weekend, which was, why don't we make a website where people who love dogs can watch the dogs of other people, and vice versa. And that's Rover. So now what you don't have to do when you can't find a friend or family to watch it, you don't have to send your dog to a kennel, or you don't have to put him in a box, which is terrible. It's more like your dog gets to have an entire box full of tennis balls. And so what that's like is that you get to actually, Jason, I'm going to ask you, because you have both had Oscar, your Oscar, go to other people's homes, and you've had other dogs come to your home. So what's that like? Okay, so maybe you can elaborate upon. Actually, nobody can hear you.
Wait, outside voice plus a mic makes it even better. So dialogue. It's awesome.
Can you elaborate, Jason, upon the word awesome?
It's awesome because it's like having your dog stay at a friend's place, but you don't have the guilt of having your dog stay at a friend's place. So you can pay not much, lose the guilt, still feel like your dog's having an awesome experience like they would if they were staying with a friend or family member.
Got it. And so Rover started here in Seattle. We have sitters in over 80% of the zip codes in the country. So just about anywhere you live, you can find a Rover sitter who will watch your dog in their home. And most of our sitters are sort of what we call part-timers. People like me or Jason who have day jobs, but we like dogs, and we're happy to watch another dog in our house. We have a program called Sit a Pet, Save a Life. Did I get that right? Sit a Dog, Save a Life. Where lots of our sitters, we've partnered with a number of not-for-profits and charitable organizations that support pets and dogs and things like that. So a lot of our sitters contribute the money that they make watching dogs to these organizations as opposed to keeping it for themselves. But there are people on there who, have a little side income as well. And so I'm going really fast, by the way, so I'm going to slow down because how much time do I have left? Oh, I'm not going as fast as I thought. Okay, so I'm going to. Okay, so we got one more slide here. It wouldn't be, I have to, like everybody, we're hiring, right? We're looking, Phil, what kind of developers are we hiring for?
Awesome developers.
Okay,
so we're looking for Django, Python developers, and also front-end developers.
Gotcha. And so this slide shows what it's like to work at Rover. We have a lot of dogs in our office. Today there were 9 dogs at the office. So your dog is welcome at our office. If you don't like dogs, if you don't want to be around dogs in the office, it's probably not a great place for you. And I have to tell you something. I'm a little bit allergic to dogs. This is little Oscar here is a hypoallergenic dog, and I willed myself to not be allergic to dogs in my first 2 weeks at Oscar. I said I'm not going to scratch my eyes. I'm not going to sneeze. And Brittany, Brittany's right back there. Did you bring your dog?
I did not. She's at home.
Oh, okay. What's your dog's name again?
Caprica.
Oh, Caprica. That's right. And hey, is Brad? Are you out there somewhere? I thought Brad was going to come down here. Well, Brad has a little dog named Charlie. So we got lots of dogs at the office. We're having a lot of success. We're having a lot of fun. And this last slide shows where you can find us on the internet. And I guess we'll take a few minutes of questions, or a minute of questions, or 50 seconds, or whatever. 30 seconds of questions. Anybody got a question?
5 minutes. Yeah.
Boom, right there.
You got 36 seconds left to present.
How did you get that domain name, Rover.com?
Long story.
We were super lucky. One of the other, Rover is backed by Madrona and Foundry, which is Brad Feld's group, and it turns out that one of the other companies in Madrona's portfolio owned the domain name. So sort of it was all in the family.
How did you get to 80% of the zip codes? Like, how did you get that message out nationally?
Great question. Jason, would you like to answer that?
Sure.
Back right there.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? What do you? I want to make sure I understand it.
What was your go-to-market strategy? How did you get this into every zip code in the nation?
So one of the most successful things we've found is we've partnered with, 30 or 40 not-for-profit dog associations in cities. So a lot of sitters there, a little bit through Craigslist, a little bit through lots of different job sites.
And we didn't go national first. We started in Seattle. Isn't that right?
Started in Seattle, but in March last year, expanded to New York, and then pretty quickly went national and spread pretty quickly.
Cool. Right back there. The question was, what is our top 3 social media platforms? And I think probably they're the same as everybody's top 3 social media platforms, which is Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Would you agree?
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So sorry we weren't more sexy than that. I guess we put a lot of stuff on Instagram. We have a fun Instagram feed, which is mainly dogs that from around, pictures of the dogs from around the office, and then pictures that our sitters send us of dogs that they're sitting. One of the things we really that's really neat about Rover is if your dog is staying with a Rover sitter, the sitter will. We have a mobile app, and one of the main purposes of that mobile app is for the sitter to easily send you pictures of your dog while they're staying with them, so that you know that your dog's kind of safe and happy. Right up here in front.
What's the revenue model?
What is the revenue model? It's very simple. So there's a transaction that happens, and we take a small percentage of the transaction. That's pretty much it.
Any idea of moving on to other type of pets?
Is there any idea of moving on to other types of pets was the question. Well, we do have some other types of pets that go through the system, right? There's cats. We had a pig. Yeah, not making that up. We had a pig once. So if you had some peculiar animal, a giraffe or whatever, you could try it out. Maybe there's someone who wants to have a giraffe at their house. Right back there.
What about things like watering plants when I'm away?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Things like watering plants?
Oh, things like watering plants. Oh, well, that's a great question, because that assumes that the dog sitter is going to come to your house and watch the dog. Lots of sitters come to your house, but there's lots of sitters that will take your dog bring the dog to your house if you had a dog. And sitters, we have something called, we refer to, you can't eat that. Nope. We have, so some sitters will do things like that. There's a question right back there, behind the gentleman who just asked a question. All right.
Yeah, basically we have dogs and we like sitters in our house and like that. The dogs are more comfortable in their environment than somebody else's house. We have 2 dogs. So you already mentioned that you have house sitters.
That's right. So he said his dogs prefer to stay at their house. We've got dog sitters that'll come to your house, or you can take your dog there. All right. So thank you very much. Once again, that disappeared, but you can find us at rover.com, everywhere on the internet, and we'll be around with some dogs for a while if you want to pet them. And thanks for having us.